So today for our daily Moravian text reading, we are in Titus chapter 2 verse 6 through to chapter 3 verse 2. Paul the Apostle is writing to a church leader called Titus, a Gentile, who Paul had led to the Lord, and he's writing with guidance and advice on how to lead well. Yesterday's reading, Paul was saying, Titus, I want you to teach the older guys in your community to live in a way worthy of respect. Teach the older women in community to live in a reverent way, and to teach and train the younger women. And today Paul says, Titus, I want you to teach younger men self-control. Teach slaves to live in a trustworthy manner. So I just want to place today's reading in the context of families of faith, missional community. Here you have these oikos households of faith in a Gentile pagan Roman world, and they're being taught how to live in a countercultural godly way as part of their witness to the world. Verse 10 says, so that you'll make the teachings of Jesus attractive to those around you. It's about their witness, a lifestyle that illuminates who Jesus is, not the sort of preachy, condemning teaching we hear in some parts of the church that makes the teaching of Jesus quite frankly unattractive. Paul says to Titus, be an example. Live in a way that can be imitated. He goes on to talk about how God's grace empowers us to live a holy life. Now I take a whole chapter of this on my book, Reflex. Holiness is a reflex to God's grace at work in our lives. The fruit of God's grace in our lives is right living. In this particular section of scripture, right living is totally linked to our witness to the world around us, even down to how we live subject to rulers and authorities, our obedience to them. And truthfully, I think you have to ask yourself, if you're anti this and anti that and anti-vax, if the way you respond to authority is to use Paul's words in this passage here, is it unattractive to the world around you? Mission, our witness, is a big driving factor in our ethical decision making. I've got a few minutes left, so let's dig a little bit deeper. The importance of what is taught through imitation and example, a challenging idea, isn't it? But imitation and holiness are intrinsically linked. God says, be holy because I'm holy. God says, rest because I Sabbathed on the seventh day. And our reading today reminds us that God has redeemed us for himself. That means he has bought us out of the slave market. He has purified us. His grace is transforming us and empowering us to be more like Jesus. Holiness, imitation, community, and witness. They're the themes that really stood out to me today. And you can post in the comments what themes stood out to you. Have a wonderful day living in God's grace.